Welcome to Anime Recaps. In this video, we will explain Oreshura. This anime tells a story of a high school student who only has ambitions to get a scholarship and neglects other things, including love. However, his love story actually started when a girl at his school asked him to be her fake boyfriend to not be disturbed by other male students. Will his pretense of being in a relationship end well for him? Or will their relationship be real? Let's find out in Oreshura. Oreshura tells a story of a high school boy named Eita Kido, an otaku and bookworm who rarely leaves the house. Even so, just like high school students in general, he wants to enter a prestigious college. In fact, he was willing to go through his youth without a love relationship, which would only hinder his path to achieving his dream. Eita's parents are divorced, and because of that, he wants to get a scholarship, so he doesn't become a burden. Although Eita rarely hangs out, he has Harusaki Chiwa, a childhood friend who always faithfully accompanies him. She often visits his house to entertain or just accompany him. She knows very well that Eita is a guy who studies hard and has big dreams. Eita and Chiwa attend the same high school, so they always go to school together. However, Eita is so diligent that he still reads the lesson notes even though he is walking to school, causing him to often ignore every chatter that comes out of Chiwa's mouth. A very beautiful and popular girl named Masuzu Natsukawa is in Eita's class. Coincidentally, there was a change of seat on that day where in the end, Eita had to sit next to Masuzu. Because of that, the boys in his class envied Eita, to the point that they even thought he was the luckiest guy in the world. On the other hand, Eita just doesn't care and is indifferent when the world destined him to sit next to the high school angel. His determination to graduate with good grades and get a scholarship is absolute. He doesn't want that dream to be shattered because of something as trivial as love, even though he has a chance to hook up with the prettiest girl in school. But over time, Eita's cold attitude made Masuzu curious and attracted to him. So one day after school, Masuzu finally courageously asked Eita to walk home together. Feeling uncomfortable hearing the invitation, he then asked Masuzu's real purpose for inviting him like that. But she calmly said, "That's because I like you." Suddenly the atmosphere in the classroom became chaotic, and rumors about their relationship began to spread. While walking home together, Masuzu tells Eita why she bluntly confessed to him. It turned out that she was fed up with receiving different student confessions every day. She even admitted that she had received love confessions from men 58 times. But she notices that Eita doesn't seem to pay much attention to romantic relationships, and she has the same understanding as him. She does not want to be involved in a romantic relationship, especially if the relationship is not important. That's why Masuzu forced Eita to pretend to be her boyfriend so that the men would stop approaching her. She even threatens that she will reveal who Eita really is to everyone if he refuses. She knew he was a true otaku because she had read his notebook, full of embarrassing notes. Hearing the threat, Eita couldn't help but obey Masuzu's request. But not long after they formalized their fake relationship, Eita and Masuzu cross paths with Chiwa, who immediately gets jealous seeing the two of them together. She felt that she had been betrayed by Eita. The next day, Eita and Masuzu's relationship quickly becomes the subject of gossip at school. But Eita can't reveal that he is just Masuzu's fake boyfriend, even to Chiwa, his closest friend. On the other hand, Chiwa, who is still annoyed with Eita, wants to try to get a boyfriend. And unexpectedly, Masuzu offered to help her and created a school club for the three of them. But what Chiwa didn't know was that Masuzu actually just wanted to play with her feelings. And then, Masuzu told Chiwa to confess her love to the upperclassman named Sakagami. Eita knows that Masuzu just wants to make fun of Chiwa, so he asks her to stop helping Chiwa. But in response, Masuzu again threatens to spread Eita's secret notebook if he interferes. That one threat was enough to silence him. The plan then began, and it was time for Chiwa to express her love for Sakagami. From a distance, Eita watched and supported her no matter the outcome. Unexpectedly, Sakagami accepted Chiwa's confession. In fact, he immediately asked her out on a date next Sunday. On the following Sunday, Chiwa arrived earlier than Sakagami at the appointed place. But for some reason, Eita felt that something was off about their date, so he came to watch over Chiwa. He didn't want anything bad to happen to his close friend. Not long after, Masuzu came to see Chiwa's first date. But after waiting for hours, Sakagami never came. He turns out to be dating another woman not far from Chiwa. He purposely didn't meet Chiwa because he just wanted to prank her. She was nothing more than a stake for Sakagami and his friends. As if that wasn't enough, they mocked and humiliated her without the slightest sense of guilt. Eita rushed to save Chiwa even though Masuzu tried to stop him. But he comes in a silly way like a character in a video game. Even more ridiculous, Eita was beaten by Sakagami and his friends for disturbing their fun. At this point, Chiwa didn't stay still. She attacked Sakagami and his friends with sticks until they run away. Saved Chiwa, ended up being saved by her. Worse, he was battered. The next day, Masuzu doesn't go to school, and Eita plans to visit his fake girlfriend. But unexpectedly, he met her on the street. He then thanked Masuzu for giving Chiwa the stick yesterday, so she could save him when he was beaten. Unexpectedly, Masuzu admired Eita, who sincerely wanted to help others selflessly. She then presents him with a kiss. But the funny thing is, after that she told him to drink the sewage water because he had kissed her. The next day, Eita is surprised by the arrival of Masuzu and Chiwa at his house. The two of them are still competing for him no matter what. However, it turns out that they are not the only ones interested in him. At school, Eita gets an anonymous love letter in his locker. Masuzu and Chiwa's competition for Eita is getting fiercer day by day, to the point that they don't even hesitate to physically fight each other. And interestingly, Masuzu is getting more aggressive toward Eita because she wants more attention from him. She didn't even want him to pay attention to anyone other than her. One day, Masuzu fell unconscious during swimming lessons due to drowning because she could not swim at all. Eita then provided emergency assistance which required him to give artificial respiration. He was cheered by many students, but most importantly, Masuzu was saved. After that, Eita accompanies Masuzu in the infirmary until she wakes up. Knowing how he treats her, she becomes grateful to have someone like him around her, even though she only took advantage of him. And after that, their relationship grew closer even though it was fake. The scene switches where Eita gets a second love letter in his locker. The sender asked him to meet her on the school roof through the letter. So, out of curiosity, he went to the school's roof as promised. Then it was revealed that Eita's secret fan was a girl named Himekase. Surprisingly, she has something in common with Eita. She is a true otaku who suffers from Chunibyo syndrome. So, in her delusion, she thinks he is the prince she has been looking for. When Masuzu and Chiwa caught Eita and Himeka alone, the situation got out of control. Even more ridiculous, Himeka, who likes to fantasize, explains that she is Eita's ex-girlfriend. That statement immediately shocked Eita, Masuzu, and Chiwa. Himeka is a quiet girl who has no friends. She is always shunned by many people until she finally meets Eita, who also has Chunibyo syndrome. The similarity makes her think that Eita is a charming guy. One day, Masuzu's little sister came to visit Masuzu at school. But it turns out that she only came to mock her sister. She mocks Himeka, who has Chunibyo syndrome, which makes her unable to differentiate between fantasy and reality. Knowing Himeka is being ridiculed to the fullest, Eita tries to help her from being bullied by Masuzu's sister. Because after all, as a former Chunibyo, he understands Himeka's feelings. Fortunately, he managed to drive away Masuzu's sister and her bodyguards from the school. The next day, a member of the disciplinary committee, Ai Fuyumi, asks Masuzu to disband her club. For information, Ai is Eita's childhood friend, just like Chiwa. Masuzu refused the disbandment because there was no clear order from the disciplinary committee. Summer vacation arrives, and Eita joins a cram school held specifically for interested students. But there, he was put in the same class as Ai. Naturally, this makes Ai very happy, and she starts trying to approach him. But because of her tsundere nature, her efforts failed miserably. After the cram school, Eita is forced by Masuzu to come somewhere as soon as possible. He came there as fast as lightning because he was still afraid she would spread his disgrace if he didn't hurry. Once they meet, Masuzu reveals her plan to him. She wants to take advantage of Ai so that the club she built doesn't get disbanded. That way, their activities can continue. At the tutoring place, Ai again approaches Eita, although she is still unaware of her tsundere nature. She was very happy when the food she made was praised by him. On that day, Ai came home with a cheerful expression on her face. The next day, Eita met with Masuzu again to talk about something. But in the middle of the conversation, she suddenly kissed him. It was a gift because Eita had supported her to always be confident and optimistic in dealing with problems. So, without them even realizing it, their relationship became more and more like a real couple. A few days later, after taking the cram school exam, Ai takes Eita to a fireworks festival. But he refused because he was more concerned with studying than attending the festival. In addition, Ai already has a boyfriend she previously mentioned to Eita, so he feels he has no obligation to accompany her. Surprisingly, when Eita told Masuzu, she suggested he go with Ai instead. Masuzu still has ambitions to carry out her plans to make Ai fall in love with him so that their club disbandment will be cancelled. He then followed Masuzu's advice, but instead of going to the festival, Eita and Ai went to see a movie, and even Chiwa went with them. Masuzu's plan ended up failing. But a few days later, the unexpected happened. Ai joins Masuzu's club, but Ai's purpose is none other than to approach Eita and confess her feelings to him. One day, there was a play in the club where Eita was required to seduce Ai, but he got too carried away, making Masuzu, Himeka, and Chiwa feel jealous. After club activities, Eita, Masuzu, Chiwa, Himeka, and Ai planned to vacation together. They chose a beach in the Yokohama region as a tourist destination, and here Masuzu and Eita's relationship grew closer. They begin to understand each other's conditions and fill in their shortcomings. However, that beautiful moment had to be interrupted when Eita met his aunt. Eita's aunt can guess that Masuzu is pretending to be dating Eita and reveals it plainly in front of all the club members. Fortunately, Eita's aunt was drunk at the time and soon passed out, so Masuzu and Eita's secret was still safe. When Eita and the girls left for the agreed vacation spot, that day Eita was constantly hugged by Masuzu to make the other girls jealous. Even in the carriage, Eita and Masuzu sat next to each other while joking along the way, making Chiwa, Himeka, and Ai even more jealous. When they arrived at the beach, they immediately spent time together playing on the beach. But after a while, Eita was busy accompanying Masuzu, who became the center of attention of the boys there. Like a true boyfriend, he is always by Masuzu's side to protect her. However, when Ai was alone with Masuzu, she suddenly made it clear that she would not forgive Masuzu if she only played with Eita, who Ai had liked for a long time. That makes Masuzu have to find a moment where she can make her friends believe that her relationship with Eita is real. Therefore, she asked Eita to kiss her tomorrow in front of the girls. But unfortunately, he did not immediately accept it and instead suggested that they look for another safer way. But until the day passed, they had not found another plan to do. Until the time comes, Eita still can't carry out the agreed plan. Likewise, Masuzu couldn't kiss him because she knew it would ruin the moment they had together. However, she still wants to maintain her precious friendship and doesn't want any conflict that could destroy the relationship. Now, Masuzu has realized the true meaning of friendship. So in the afternoon, Masuzu unexpectedly took part in a love confession festival held by the beach. She wanted to use that moment to end the fake relationship with Eita. Knowing what Masuzu was going to do, Eita immediately went to stop her. Luckily, he arrived just as she was about to reveal the truth on stage. And with that, he entered the stage and confessed his feelings to her. He really loves Masuzu with all her flaws. And even for Eita, no one could be her companion except him. The love confession marks the end of the pretense in Eita and Masuzu's relationship, and the end of Oreshura's story. The moral that can be learned from this anime is that if we have found someone we like, just tell them how we feel. There's no point in lying to ourselves.